Here's the reason that point, line, and plane, why they're considered undefined terms. Because remember how I told you, did I use the longitude and latitude example? How you can actually go to the point of where longitude and latitude take you, but can you actually pick up that point? No, so it's an undefined term. It's kind of like, it's there, but you can't touch it. It's not physically there. So that's why it's called an undefined term. You're also going to use the same word right here. So rewrite undefined terms again. Undefined terms are only explained using examples and descriptions. So they're not real life. Okay, we can only talk about them using examples or descriptions. A blank is a location, an exact location, that has neither shape nor size. What do you think it is? Huh? Point. No shape or size, but it's an exact location. Christian E., read number 4 for me, please. Louder. Made up of points, no thickness or width. Point, line, or plane? Line. Who can talk loud? Lakeland, read number 5 for me.
A blank is a flat surface made up of fluid substances and definitely in all directions.
What is that? Plane. Well, one, you know, because we've already used point and line. But it's a flat surface, okay? A plane is a flat surface. Here's some key things. There's exactly one line through any 2 points. And let me explain that. If this is a line, this is line AB. Okay, here's line AB. If I draw another line on top of it, right on top of it, exactly, how many lines would it look like? Just one. So that's why there's only one line through any 2 points. There can't be 2 lines through here because it only looks like one. Next, there's exactly one plane through any 3 points. So it takes 3 points to make a plane. Now, on your graphic organizer that we did last week, we named these 3 things. So in each one, I want you to list all the ways you can name these. So do that now. List all the ways you can name each of these. You can use your notes from last week. Now, you don't have to list all the ways for plane, but list at least 2 for plane. Oh, you weren't here to fill that in, were you? Hey, real quick, can I write on yours? Okay. Some of you, we finished filling this in last week. Or some of you all like, I don't know what to put because we didn't fill it in. Okay, real quick, let us help you fill this in. A plane is a 4-sided figure most of the time. Most of the time it's 4-sided. And it has to have at least 3 points. Doesn't matter where they are, just has to have at least 3. We can call it A, B, and C. In order to name this plane, so in this one, you can fill, it's a 4-sided most of the time. Most of the time it's 4-sided. You'll see what I mean later. 4-sided, slanted figure. Think of it as a tabletop. It's a surface. It's something you can set something on, okay? It's a surface. There's not any symbols to name a plane. You just use the word plane. So because there's 3 points, we could name this plane A, B, C. Or remember, it can be any order. Doesn't have to be A, B, C. It could be C, B, A. It could be B, C, A. Any order. Or A, B, and C are points. If there's a letter in your plane that does not have a point, let's say K. Here's K, but there's no points. We can also use that to name our plane. So this would be plane K. Only if K is not a point. Facts, think of it as a surface. And then the symbols, there were no symbols, but your keyword could be plane. Does that help? Now can you finish the first page? Sorry about that. Alright, so, Judah, what's this called? Point what? Point A. You could name it point A. Could I just put A? There were 3 ways to name this second one. There are 3 ways. Jalen, what was one? Line what? Line PQ. Using your symbols. Well, couldn't I also flip that and say QP? Yes. Ashanti, what's another way? Very good. Line M. Remember, M is not a point. It's not a point, it's just the name of the line. Alright, so we had point, line. Now we have plane. Remember, there's at least 3 points on a plane. There can be more. Okay, Micah. How would I name this plane? Good. Plane. Did you say CBD? But remember, put some dots here. Doesn't have to be CBD. Okay, that's not the only way. Plane DBC. Okay, the order doesn't matter. There's one more way. What is it? Call it out, class. Plane K. Do y'all see a dot beside K? No, that's how you know that's the name of it. You can also tell when it's actually typed and I'm not handwriting it. Doesn't that look kind of cursive? These both look cursive. Okay, so your points are going to be capital letters, mostly just like normal. And then your line is lowercase and italicized. Your plane is capitalized, italicized. Alright, so that was kind of a quick review. Now we have to learn a couple more words. So this is new vocabulary you have not heard yet. Blank points are points that lie on the same line. The word for that is collinear. Collinear. An example, this right here, P and Q are on the same line, so they are collinear. So right here, I'm going to put example, P, Q, and I'm going to draw an arrow. Okay, our second one, we have collinear. Those are points that are on the same line. What keyword is in this word? Line. Collinear. They're points on the same line. Well, in this definition, points that lie on the same plane. So, if I give you the hint that the first little part is co, what do you think comes next? Planar. So they give it away. Collinear, points on the same line. Coplanar, points on the same plane. For example, right here, what points are on this plane? Class? B, C, D. Are those coplanar? Yes. If I put a point out here called F, are B, C, D, and F coplanar? No, because who's not on the plane? F. Very good. Okay, so we're going to be using this figure right here. Number 1, what is a line that contains point W? Write it down. Is there more than one way to write this? Name a line that has point W on it. Marshall, what'd you write? Line in. That's the easiest way, right? Line in. Who wrote something other than line in? Christopher. Okay, very good point. I'm so glad you said that. Aren't there 4 points on this line? Yes, but we can only name a line using 2. Does it matter which 2? No, but any 2 that are on this line. So, if I put the symbol, line, VW, guess what line I'm talking about? This one right here. Well, I can also name it using the symbol and XY. Those are all the same lines, but we only use 2 points to name it. Okay? Number 2, what's the name of a plane that contains point X? Put your finger on point X. Find it. Put your finger on it. Well, isn't it on one plane? What's the name of this plane, class? Plane P. That's the easy way. Let's do it one more way in case they don't always give us P. How many points have to make a plane? 3. Does it matter which 3? Except for what? What's the 1 point I can't use? T. Because it's not on the plane. So this is the only one I can't use to name the plane. Melody, what 3 you want me to use? VWX. Sounds good to me. Plane VWX. Alright, when we're looking at the next section, it is kind of hard to see on your paper, but these are 2 planes. They're 2 different planes. So if you want to fill this in, it was printed very light. Can you see where the 2 different planes are? Number 3, name the lines that are only in plane Q. Go ahead and try it on your own. Try it on your own. Name the lines that are only in plane Q. Bree, how many lines are in plane Q? 2. But is this one throwing you off? Class, do you see this line? What's it called? Line what? P. You see it at the top? Line P. It goes through this plane, but is it only in this plane? No, it goes all the way through this plane too. So on number 3, name the lines that are only in plane Q. Well, that's line G and line Q. That's a Q. That's a Q. Could I say line HL? HL. Here's the thing I need to tell you. Do you see this line right here? Line in. How many points are there on it? 1. Now, remember, this is an undefined space, okay? We have to have more than, that has to have more than 1 point. So, if it tells you that this is a line, then you have to imagine that that there's more than one point, okay? You have to imagine it. It's not telling you the other point because it wants you to name it using this little lowercase letter. So for number 3, name the lines that are only in plane Q. Well, we have this line right here, which we named by HL. What's another way to name this one? Line what? Q. Line Q or LH. But this one, the only way to name it is line N. Because I can't just make up another point. Okay, look at these 2 pins. What do these look like? Point, line, or plane? The closest to. Line. Lines, right? Similar. But lines go on forever. If I cross these, what do they make in the middle? It is an intersection, but is it a point, line, or plane? Point. Very good. So on number 4, the intersection of line M and T. Well, here's M, right? And here's T. At what point did they intersect? C. Very good. Name a point that is not coplanar. So it's not on the same plane as A, B, and C. Here's A, here's B, here's C. So the correct answer is any point that's not in this plane because it says not coplanar. Well, shout out some points. F is on the same plane. Okay. What? D. Right? D's outside, so write that down. What about in this bottom plane? Couldn't I use any of these points on here? Yes, so let's just name one. What do you want it to be? P. Our points F, here's F, M, G, and P. Are those coplanar? No. Which point's throwing them off? F. So write me one sentence. Write me one sentence right here. No, they are not coplanar because of blah, 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 blah. Go. One sentence. So number 6, I need to see a sentence. Why do you think I'm making you write a sentence? What key word in the question? Explain. What point was it? Okay, number 7. What is another name for line T? Here's line T. Name it using another way. What would we call it? Line CE or EC. Very good. All right, almost done. Like a page and a third left. Okay, a couple more vocab words. The intersection of 2 or more geometric figures is the set of points they have in common. So it's where they meet. We already talked about the first one. 2 lines intersect at a what? Point. Very good. 2 lines intersect at a point. Okay, now use your imagination. Go with me? Use your imagination. This whole brick wall, what's it similar to? A plane. This whole brick wall, pretend there's no door here. This whole brick wall, what's it similar to? Plane. So we have 2 planes. What kind of, I'm not saying it's perfect, but what kind of angle is this, approximately? Right angle. So what kind of lines are they? Perpendicular. That's what I was getting towards. Yes, they're straight, hopefully. But they're perpendicular because they meet at a 90-degree angle. Okay? Now, here's one plane going this way. here's another plane. When they meet, when they intersect, you see where they intersect? What's that look like? A line. You see the line in the middle of it, the crease? So when two planes intersect, pretend I'm still using this one, this plane. What about this plane? When they meet, what do they make? A line, kind of, right? Window kind of threw it off. Okay? What about the ceiling? Is that a plane? Yeah? And this plane right here, what do they make when they meet? Line. So what do you think your next fill in the blank is? Very good. When two planes intersect, they make a line. All right, next 1 through 3. Remember, I'm a math teacher, not an art teacher. I try to draw straight, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, okay? So you need to put your thinking caps on. This is hard to me because I don't like to draw. So let's do it together. Draw the geometric figures. So it tells us what it is, and we have to draw it. Are any of you good at drawing? You are, Shanti? Okay, I have to remember that. Okay, so number 1, here's the thing. When I printed these, the printer kind of made a boo-boo at some places, so you're going to have to fill in some information. Okay, so number 1, you're missing, so in front of here, there's supposed to be line QR. That's supposed to be in front of intersects. So we have a line, QR, that intersects plane T at point S. Now, if I were to draw this figure right here, we already looked at this. If I were to draw this, what would you draw first? I mean, it's up to you. There's no wrong answer. But I would draw the plane first. So in this one, let's draw the plane first. QR intersects plane T. I know there has to be a plane, so let's draw it. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and I know that it's named T. So, check. I have plane T. Line QR intersects this plane. Does it tell us which side it intersects on? No, so does it matter? No. If this is a quiz, and you put it on this way, and your partner puts it over here, are you both right? Yes. Okay, so QR intersects the line. It intersects it here. So let's just make this the line. Now, does it tell me what order QR is in? No. But what I do know is that where it intersects is what point? S. So that's the only thing I know for sure, is that this point at the intersection is S. Now, I could put Q and R both on the same line, both right here, and I'd be right. I could put Q here and R here, and I would be right. Okay? So that is our geometric figure for this information. Read number 2 to yourself. So what should we draw first? Plane. Plane what? In. So let's go ahead and do that first. Now it tells us that line P lies in. It's all the way in. Okay, so anyway, draw a line. Now, P is not a point. It's the name of the line. So it doesn't matter. You just put it somewhere around the line. What's the only point that I know that's on here? L. Are we done? Line P, check. Lies in plane N, check. And contains point, check. Okay, number 3. I'm going to let you do it by yourself. But you're missing something. Right here at the end, it's supposed to lie on line CD. Try that one. So you have line CD, and it has 2 extra points. It's not in a plane. It might be, but it doesn't tell us. It doesn't tell us, so you don't have to draw a plane. Very good. Very good. Put you so sleepy. X and Y are on this line. So what 2 points do you have on this line? There you go. How many points are on this line? 4. Because it tells me that I have line CD. Does the order matter? No. So here's line CD. Points X and Y are on this line. Does it matter where? Nope. All right, to the back. Okay, you're missing some information here at the end where the period is. So, real quick, fill this in. Line AB or line CD. That's supposed to be at the end of the sentence. All right, so let's dissect this sentence. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Sure? Okay. Lines AB and CD. So those are 2 separate lines. They intersect at what? What is E? Not where, but what is it? It's a point, because 2 lines. And then it gives us the points for line AB and CD. So let's go ahead and make those lines, okay? I'm going to do them in 2 separate colors. You don't have to. Whatever floats your boat. So here's line AB. So let's plot these points. Just for a reminder, when you're plotting points, you always start at your origin, which is 0, 0. So you start here, then you go over first, and then up or down. And then go ahead and write what that is, what point it is. So I know AB is a line, so try to connect those points. I'm not a good straight line drawer. So that's line AB. Now these 2 lines, what did they intersect? Where did they intersect at? -1, 1. Or I can just put a dot there because they intersect at a point, and it is E. Now the last part of this, point F. Have we even heard of a point F yet? No. So this is new. Point F is coplanar, so it's on the same what? Plane. Imagine that this grid is the plane. So it's on the same plane, but not collinear. So it's on here somewhere, but not on these points. So draw F, wherever you want it to go. Raise your hand if you put F in quadrant 1. Quadrant 2. Quadrant 3. Quadrant 4. Doesn't matter. Nope. If I put F right here, is that okay? Is it still on the plane? Yeah, it's getting a little risky, right? It's about to fall off, but it's still there. Okay, next, space. Space. Space is defined as a boundless, so there's no boundaries. It can go wherever it wants to go. 3-dimensional set. So you have to think 3D, okay? You have to really be able to picture these things. So there's no boundaries, and it's 3D, okay? It's called space. So you have to be able to look at this diagram and know that it's 3D. So a plane, I told you earlier, could most likely be four-sided. But this triangle right here, HDG, that is a plane, but how many sides does it have? Just this one, just from H to D, right here. How many sides? 3. So that's a plane, even though there's not 4 sides, okay? So how many planes appear in this figure? Well, 6, 7. Okay, so you counted this figure, right? You got sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we agree on that? How many sides are right here? We have 5. Now, I bet you that someone counted this as 6 and this is 7. But guess what? That whole bottom piece is one piece. This right here, this 1, 2 pentagon sided thing, isn't it on the same plane? So it's only one. This whole bottom piece is only one plane. So there's only how many? 6. Okay, great question. I'm so glad we went over that. So how many planes a figure? 6. How many planes appear? 6. Name 3 points that are collinear. Well, HGF, are those on the same line? Those are 2 separate lines. HG and GF are 2 separate lines. What's the only one that has 3 on it? JKD. JKD. Name the intersection of plane HDG, so right here, this plane, HDG, with plane X, the whole bottom piece. So here's a plane, and then the bottom plane. Where do they intersect? HG. There's 2 planes. They have to intersect in a line. So if this is one plane, and this bottom plane's another one, they have to intersect at HG. 4 is missing a little something. At what point do, it's supposed to say LM and EF. At what point do LM and EF intersect? Well, where do they intersect? You have LM, which is right here, this line, and EF. Where do they intersect? Trick question. They don't. They don't. They don't intersect. Because they never touch. Are points E, D, F, and G coplanar? E, D, and F are, right? But G is on the other side, which is a whole different plane. Am I looking at that right? E, D, F. Yeah. E to D to F, that's right there. That's the plane. But G's over here. So those are not on the same plane. Because E, D, and F are, but G is all the way over here. So they're not coplanar. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow, okay? So no, they're not on the same plane. What I want you to do, don't pack up. Answer those 4 questions. Is it more like a point, a line, or a plane? Great. If the bell rings, we're going to finish going over those bottom 4 tomorrow. I'm passing out some practice. I want you to do 1 through 4. 1 through 4. Only 1 through 4. Okay. Some of you, I can tell, are still confused on the looking at the planes. Okay. We're going to go over that some more. So don't freak out yet. Okay, we're going to practice. Which numbers of your homework are you doing? 1 through 4. It's not very